I used to think picking colors was just vibes, but nope. Today, I'm finally stopping the guesswork. I'm no longer going to just be picking colors randomly. We're tackling color theory from absolute zero. Color wheel is where we're starting. So, there are three primary colors: yellow, red, and blue. I'm sure if you're into art, you've seen this circle with lots of colors somewhere, but what exactly is it? There are 12 main colors on the traditional color wheel, and color theory is so important to our art because this is actually how artists choose colors and understand the effects of combining them, how the colors work together, things like that. Ever wondered why the colors you chose don't blend perfectly? Yeah, that's because as beginners, we know nothing about color theory. Now, secondary colors are mixtures of the primary colors, and a lot of us learned this when we were babies. How to mix colors. Those three colors we just mixed are important because these give us our complementary colors, which are across from our primary colors. Those are colors that give contrast. They work well when layered together, and just keep in mind that on this little pie chart, all the colors across from each other are what are complementary. There are also tertiary colors, and these are the ones we get whenever we mix primary and secondary colors together. All of these colors are what come up to make this 12 color wheel. This is what we're seeing all over when getting introduced to color theory, and at the start it seems so intimidating, but it's really simple as it can be. Now, I chose these colors to match as closely as possible to what they should actually be. I didn't actually mix them because I didn't want to mess up the markers too much. But yeah, I think they're pretty close. You notice something with the color wheel? The colors blend right into each other. The ones next to each other look like they're supposed to be there, if you know what I mean. So that's something we can keep in mind when studying color theory. Color temperature is also something we need to pay attention to in art. There are warm and cool colors. Can you guess which are which? Let me give you a hint. Feeling. So the cool colors are cool like ice. So blue, green, purple, and the warmer colors are hot like fire. So red, orange, and yellow. Things like those. And finally, we go into analogous colors. So these are the colors that are right next to each other on the color wheel. Unlike complementary colors, those have low contrast. In the last video, I mentioned hue and that I had no idea what that was. So, hue is the base color family. Here I'm using 4 different hues of red. These all come from red and a mixture of something else. Let's get into tint and shade. Here, if we mix this blue with white, we get a light blue, which is a tint. And if we mix it with black, we get a deeper, darker blue, which is a shade of blue. Apparently, artists try to avoid using black. Now that we know the color wheel, we know what hue, tint, and shade are, we know about all the colors, I'm going to show you why maybe adding pure black to our drawings and paintings might be ruining things and making it appear flat. I had no idea of this. Instead of just using black, they mix colors to get the perfect shade, and a lot of the times they mix red and green, blue and orange, or yellow and purple. They mix the complementary colors to get something that is less overpowering, something that has more dimension. And this is often applied when it comes to shadows, and we're going to get into that. Let's test our knowledge. The first thing I'm going to do is just show you what we're not supposed to do anymore. So let's say we're drawing an orange. We draw an orange circle and we have a black shadow. The orange is made up of way more colors than that, and this just gives this orange no depth. So, today, let's try drawing an orange, integrating our knowledge from shadows and our newfound knowledge from color theory. Let's also try and draw a nice juicy tomato. I don't like tomatoes, but I think they're very pretty. Also, be sure to check out the shadows video if you haven't as yet, and like and subscribe, join the family. Anyway, back to the video. Our orange is orange, and as we learned just now, the complementary color of orange is blue. So I'm drawing these two dots because the light is coming from the left. So that part of the orange needs some highlight. That's where it's going to be bright. And then I'm just putting down some orange and blue on this side to attempt to mix the colors to create some kind of shade. Remember, we're both learning this together, so let's trust the process. Now, I need a shadow on the right because that's where it's going to be dark. As I said earlier, the light is coming in from the left. Let's do some blending of this orange on top of the blue to blend and create kind of an ombre effect with these complementary colors. I think it's working out quite nicely, nicer than I thought it would. I mean, the colors aren't perfectly mixed. This acrylic marker I don't think is the best for that, and I'm kind of messing up the tips, but it's okay, we'll figure it out. I think it's really cool that we're seeing a link between color theory and shadows. I'm also just using some analogous colors to add a little bit of razzle dazzle onto the highlights here. I'm not sure if this works well, but yeah, I'm just experimenting a little bit with the knowledge that we just gained. Let's do our tomato. So we're going to do our tomato in two ways. First, I'm going to experiment with using a brighter analogous color under the red to see if it gives us a more popping tomato. And then the second thing is we're going to use the complementary color of red, which is green, to give us that quintessential dark shadowy vibe. The colors here are kind of not going great because the marker is mixing and it's not perfect, but we're going to get through it. We're going to work with this and we're going to fix it. So I'm just putting down some orange to see if I can make it brighter and just pop some more. As you can see, it's not giving us that dark shadow effect because these are analogous colors and red is actually a part of orange. As we discussed earlier, orange comes from a mixture of red and yellow. But it does give us a brightness in our tomato. Do you see it? Let me know if you see it. Comment a tomato below if you kind of see the brightness here. I see it. And I forgot to leave the two dots earlier, so I'm just using this off-white marker to add some highlights. Now let's try with the green, the complement to red. This is what I'm going to try and use now to get that darker shadow. That shadow that shows that, hey, yeah, light is coming from the left and we're barely seeing that side. It's in the shadow of the tomato. Let's try that. This is quite a bit of layering, quite a bit of hard work for these markers, but I'm determined to make it work and I think it's coming together. The difficulty with these markers is they dry very quickly and I don't think they're meant for this kind of blending like paint is. So I don't know, but we'll figure it out as time goes by and as we get better at art. This is my first time looking into color theory. No gatekeeping, no confusing stuff, just us figuring out the color wheel and blending and tint and hue together. And again, I'm using this analogous color to add something extra to the highlights. I want the stem to be green but also have kind of a darkness under it, so I'm just putting down some red and then putting green on top. What do you think? If you like the orange more, leave an orange below. And if you like the tomato a lot more, leave a tomato below. What do you think? This is our color theory study, and I'm sure yours kind of looks like this too if you followed along. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, especially if you've gotten this far and you enjoyed the video. Have a good rest of your day. Take care.